Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dorklords. Today, Paul and myself are going to talk about this last season of Westworld, specifically the season finale and what it might mean for season 2, which has been picked up, I believe, for 2018.
Yeah, that's right. They want to make you wait.
So there's a while for that. So, all right. So, episode 10, big finale, Bicameral Mind, I believe was the title.
Yes.
Opening thoughts there, Paul.
I was pretty satisfied with how it ended, even though you had to fight the natural tendency. Like, yeah, we know this stuff. Like some of the stuff. Like, yes, William is the Man in Black. We know. You know,
and I give them. I was worried. I'll say this: like for the first few minutes, it seemed like they were still trying to play the little is he or isn't he? I mean, most people at this point they knew William was the Man in Black. So when they're like, oh, someone's coming to save me, William! And then they cut to William in the past timeline, or I guess time frame. And, you know, you're like, oh, you know, come on, guys. Please don't run this little conceit out through the show. They didn't.
Well, not through the whole show, no. But then William comes along and says, oh, you're looking for William, are you?
He talks about himself in third person. Yeah. Oh, that William was a...
Whatever happened to that William?
He was a naive young lad. That William. Back in the day. But thankfully, that was not like the end of the season reveal. No. Because everybody kind of knew that was already happening. And then, sure enough, they do the little black hat. And, okay, he's old William. Great. Okay. So, they did that. And whatever, with those little conceits notwithstanding, I thought that was a reasonable outcome to that. They were very clear.
Yes.
There's no ambiguity. No ambiguity.
Except for people who have mental problems.
Except for people who have mental problems. So William equals Man in Black. Boom.
He's lying.
Right. He's a robot version of him that's lying intentionally. Okay. So that was a big reveal. Other big reveal. Spoilers. Sure, I'll say it. Right? We've said it now. We're talking spoilers here. Good. Great. Okay. So
yeah, because we just spoiled that.
We just spoiled that.
We've done it in the traditional fashion.
Right. Actually, in a different time frame, we didn't spoil. I don't know. Okay. So Ford, Anthony Hopkins' character, is killed off at the end.
Yes.
And I sent a very quick text
I'll read that text
to Paul Bunton right before the show. He's shooting at the camera, but I almost got it. I didn't. I have to admit, I didn't quite get the thing. But
I can photo. Put it right there.
All right, put a photo. That'd be good.
There you go.
So my prediction was that a reanimated Bernard, after he was killed himself,
in the head, but,
that he would be reanimated, which he was,
yeah,
and that Ford would be shot by him. Now, I got the reanimation and the Ford was shot. I didn't get Dolores shooting Ford. No. Which was a cool little... Because she shoots everybody that matters, apparently. Yes. It's like, if you're a scientist who likes to develop robots, get ready, because one of them's going to shoot you in the head.
Dolores is a great person to shoot you.
Yes. Like, and it seems like they kind of both wanted her to shoot him in the head.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. Like, certainly Arnold was like, please shoot me in the head.
It's a very rare kink.
And then, Ford is pretty much like, he's giving this toast, like, they always say people live on through their music. Well, screw you, everybody, goodbye. And then, and he gets shot. So he was pretty much ready to meet his maker as well.
Yes.
So that was a big moment. And then we see, now you tell me what you got out of this, but...
Okay.
So we had the moment of the guy, probably the least likable character in the series is the annoying...
The weasel?
The weasel guy. The annoying weasel programmer guy.
Weasel guy.
Well, no, sorry. That is the most annoying guy. I was talking about the second most annoying guy, the guy who writes the storylines. The rich guy that writes the storylines?
No, I call him a programmer. Yes, he's a weasel.
Sorry. I thought you might have been talking about other programmer weasel, Sylvester.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
He's less Weasley.
He's less Weasley. He's Ron Weasley. All right. Yes. So right, that guy. I'm forgetting his name.
That guy. There was the other programmer Weasley guy.
Oh, that's true. There's sexual assault Weasley guy who met his comeuppance.
Like, oh, who can I, or what?
I like listening to techno music.
While I rape the robots.
Yeah. Woo! All right, so that guy was the worst. Okay, got it. He was the least likable character. You win the award.
Show are you watching?
Producer Steve, we were watching a show. Producer Steve did not watch a single episode of this, so this is all news to him.
It's a family show.
We're spoiling the crap out of this for you. It is a family show. So, all right, so other annoying guy, the writer guy, shows up. He opens the vaults to like, oh, you got to go get the narrative going, and the vault is empty.
Yes.
Right? Which I think then, what I got out of that is they're all in the forest. At the end, they're about to assault and try to massacre the Delos folks. Right. Yeah? Did you get that? I mean, we see Clementine.
Yes.
We know she wings the Man in Black. She's the one that shoots.
I hadn't thought of Clementine.
Yeah, she's the one that shoots him in the arm.
Okay.
But I couldn't tell if the others were just like Ghost Nation folks, or were they actually people from the vault.
Right.
That's what I couldn't tell.
They're all gone, so it could have been anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I just got
everybody.
I think everybody's convening on the Delos folks. That's the other big reveal.
Would you like to, come along? Okay.
Delos is going to kick out Anthony Hopkins' Ford character, and instead he's like, no, I'm going to have all my robots kill you. So there's a big slaughter happening. Let's go ahead. I know I was going to do this in a little bit more organized fashion, but let's go ahead and go to your awesome theory for season 2, because it kind of ties into this moment. Right. So the Delos folks have all met to basically say sayonara to Ford.
Right.
Instead, Ford turns the tables and goes, by the way, meet my robots.
Yeah.
and Dolores is like just picking them off. So she shoots 5 or 6 on her own.
Yeah.
Now there's probably 30 Delos people,
30,
maybe
something like that. 40 people in that area, maybe.
All like tuxes and stuff. So Man in Black gets shot in the arm, but he does not die. Importantly, I think it's very likely that Ed Harris will come back. I don't think they would kill off Ed Harris and Anthony Hopkins.
I can't. Yeah.
So I feel like shot in the arm equals I'll wrap this up and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So. Your theory, I'll start it, but you can explain it. But the idea is that season 2, because we're like, geez, they kind of solved everything in season 1. Where do you go from here?
Well, you got people shooting and running around. It's like, I wonder what they're going to do in season 2.
So you've got some Delos folks still left. Like my initial thought was, we didn't see them all massacred, but they're all massacred. But
I theorized that maybe some of them get away. Like especially the Man in Black might decide to help them get out. And we also have some security people who, we know are still like trapped or whatever, so they could get out too, and they could all be a force against the robots. So that
in Westworld,
right? In Westworld, you would have this war between the all the humans and the robots.
I love the idea of this group of Delos people that are all in like tuxes and like totally unused to the Wild West, and they've got the perfect guy to keep them alive.
Well, not used to the Wild West where they don't get their own way.
True, there's that. Yeah, good point.
But there's a really terrible one where the sharpshooting robot was like shooting things on top of people's heads, and this woman takes the gun and just shoots the guy and right in the neck. I'm like, oh hell, that was good. That was fun.
Nice job, you shot the robot. You killed him. Yay! They're just for killing, and for the next 5 minutes.
Don't forget the sexing.
That one too. So I do feel like season 2 could have this moment of not a moment, like a through line of humans being led by the Man in Black, just trying to survive in Westworld, being hunted by the robot hosts. Right. I think that's a really cool scenario.
Right. And of course, too, we still have I guess they got the guy out who has all the plans.
Abernathy. Yeah, we don't see Abernathy. Interestingly, though, in the last week on at Westworld, they specifically showed that scene where they're like, just put him on a train and get him out of here.
Right.
Like, okay, well, considering he wasn't in the episode.
No, but the Weasley guy did say, like, that was my best work, making him seem like he was a human.
Yeah, good point. Okay, they did say that.
And A-Train did leave. He probably didn't have in his head, wait, what about my kid, as Maeve did?
Yes.
Like, I should get off this train and not give the plans to somebody else.
So we think maybe Abernathy did escape, and maybe that's a thing that the the robot code is now out in general public, perhaps.
Yeah, that valuable robot code where people go crazy and kill you. So I can't wait to hook this up.
Yes, to turn that on. Oh, great, I died. So Maeve, we learn all of her, like, I'm independent now, really was fake.
Right.
I mean, that she was being programmed by Ford the whole time.
Well, if you're a philosophy person, maybe she's as independent and free-willed as the rest of us.
That's true. Good point. We're all on a loop. I think that's kind of what... It was kind of a nihilist kind of feel to the whole show in a way. Like, we all suck. Yeah. We're all robots.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, none of us really live.
No.
We're all soulless creatures. You have wires, I got blood. It's all the same. So she follows through. She's like, no, and she breaks the pen. She first brings back Bernard. Pretty big moment. Yeah. Considering he was supposed to kill Ford, but he didn't. Okay, whatever, fine. All right. So she brings back Bernard. Bernard's like, oh yeah, it says here you're supposed to try to escape. Are you escaping? Is that what's happening? Because that's exactly what it says you're supposed to do. She's like, shut up, you! It's me. I'm doing it myself. So
she learned from the previous time where it's like, what? Where she's like, okay, let me
right. Before I start stuttering, I'm going to just break the thing. So she sets off, but then at the end, she's given this note by, I'll say this, of all the surprises from this last show, the biggest surprise to me was that Felix lived.
Yes.
That guy had marched for death on him for like the last 5 episodes, but specifically this episode, you're like, that dude, goodbye, see you, sir.
He's named after a cat.
He's named after a cat.
He probably has 9 lives.
Yeah, right, one of his lives. I mean, even at the very, so he's the one human, and there's just humans getting just mowed down around him by the robots, and he's like, da-da-da, everybody's good, okay. He gets through, and you're like, wow, how did he survive that? And then at the very end, she's like loading a pistol in an elevator with him. And he's still like, oh, what's going on? And she says, like, you are the worst human or something like that. And you're like, here it comes. Pow. But nope. She's like, I meant that as a compliment. Yep. See you, Felix. Goodbye. You're like, what? Oh, my God. That guy lived. Against all odds, that guy lived. All right, anyway.
Yeah, he was probably preparing his, what should I tell St. Peter?
So whenever people say, like, oh, this show didn't offer any surprises, I will counter that Felix survived season 1, should never have survived.
No,
okay.
Never.
So he gives her a piece of paper. It's like, oh, by the way, your daughter, your fake daughter, that's a robot, actually.
Well, she's a robot, too.
Right, a good point. But, okay, yeah, that. Okay, the daughter that was implanted into your brain is important to you. Here's her coordinates.
Yep.
And he hands her the paper. And she gets on the train, and there's like 15 minutes left. I thought somebody was going to come sit next to her on the train.
Right.
I was kind of waiting for like Bernard to come sit next to her or something. But instead, she's like, you know what? I should go back to my fake kid. Yep. So she leaves the train and heads back to the park.
Right.
Now, was that part of Ford's plan, or do you think she made a choice that Ford wasn't expecting? Like, Ford was expecting her to go out. Because if you remember, when Bernard is reading you're supposed to escape. He says, oh, when you get to the mainland, and that's where she breaks it.
Oh.
So she never gets to the mainland.
He was going to spoil it.
He was going to spoil it. No spoilers! No spoilers! So before he could spoil it for everyone, and she broke it. But, so my point being, she never got to the mainland.
Right.
I think maybe this coming back for her kid is a choice that Ford did not foresee.
I suppose.
No? Yeah? You weren't grabbed by that?
Well, no, I mean, yes. But, she could get her kid and then still do it. I feel like the ultimate thing he was offering them is, agency.
Right, let's go. So the point of the thing was, it was like, what is Ford's motivation here? So originally Arnold is like, look, these beings are conscious. Or at least they can achieve consciousness. Let's close down the park. And the only way to close down the park in Arnold's mind is...
Wait, no, technically he told, what's his name, Ford first, we should close down the park.
True.
That was his first plan. Let's close down the park. Let's close it down. Because these people are human.
We're torturing these people to be raped and killed every day.
A, but then Ford's like, no.
No, we're very close to the opening of the park. Let's keep the park going. Let's do the park.
Yeah. Sentience.
Yeah.
So
plan B is Dolores, I want you to kill everyone in the park, including me.
Every robot in the park.
Every robot part, and then me, who's a human.
Yes, who's a human at this time. Yes.
So he's basically, his point was, kill all the robots, great. But if you just kill the robots, they're going to bring them back, and it's not going to solve anything. We need you to kill a human,
the other
kill me.
Revelation from this is that the character that everybody's been like, oh, who's this bad dude from, who's been doing these terrible stuff? Where is he? Turns out that Dolores is that bad dude.
Oh yes, Wyatt. So Dolores is we learn Wyatt,
right?
And
that's probably not
she kills off all the hosts. Yeah. Teddy is still somewhat of an enigma to me. We can talk about that in a second, but she kind of enlists Teddy's aid in killing everyone.
Yeah, technically he killed most of the robots.
Yeah, good point.
This is the hosts.
And then Arnold willingly sacrifices himself. Basically has Dolores shoot him.
Yes.
And then she shoots.
And that was, I'm sorry, but that was an unusual way to, because he puts on a record?
Yeah.
Was it?
And it was like, oh, this is Charlie, this is my son's favorite song.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was, okay.
This is the song I would use for him to go to sleep.
Right, okay.
So I'm going to go join my son.
Right, okay, that's the whole point of that.
And so...
I thought it was like a message. Oh, whenever I hear the song, I kill you.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Well, music is used for that purpose.
No, I just want to hear the song.
Yeah, oh, no, I just love that song. Wait, can we get a cover tune of that? So, yeah, they do Victrola, and then she offs him. She shoots Teddy, and then while Teddy is dying... He sees her shoot herself. And then he has memories of that.
Right.
The reveries later. Right. So Arnold dies to try to stop the park.
Right.
Basically to say, you know what? These are not carnival attractions. These are people. Right. So I should kill them all. That's a little weird. Well. They kill them all for their own well-being is a little weird. But yeah, I get the idea, I think. So he does that. Doesn't work, obviously, because Ford's like, "Oh, great! I'll just build a new.
Yeah, I'll just build
a new Arnold."
Well, apparently, I guess that happens around the time that the Man in Black, William, is running around. So he's the one who's like, "Here's some money."
Yeah. Now, okay, there are 3 timelines.
Right. That's true.
So we've got the 34-ish years ago when the park was just about to open, and that's when this horrible thing happens.
Right.
The incident is everybody gets killed off by the robots. Then there's like 30 years ago. That's when Man in Black, William, first shows up and is like, what's going on with this park?
Oh.
And then Dolores is learning the maze, which the maze, as we kind of discover, is a path to consciousness.
That makes sense.
And they return to the town, but the town's been covered over in dirt.
Right,
all that's left is a steeple, because I guess they were burying the incident.
Yeah.
It was like, screw it.
Maybe difficult for her.
Pack it in.
Yeah, okay.
So it's buried. So she's like, oh, crap, it's not even here. And then William tries to find her, but then finds himself, as he said. And then there's the modern timeline. So the third timeline is Man in Black, and Dolores is retracing her steps. And Ford basically unburies the town again because he wants to push this thing along.
Yeah, I guess when Ford was going through with, was it Logan?
Ford is not with Logan.
No, I mean...
William?
When William, sorry.
We'll talk about Logan in a second.
When William is with Logan,
okay.
He says that they're thinking about buying the park or whatever because they're having financial problems.
Yes.
So that incident happened, and then some time afterwards, they're still like
not
years
later,
quite doing so good. Okay.
Yeah. And then William decides, I'm investing in this thing. Now let's call to that real fast. That was one of the question marks of the episode, was Logan. Okay, so Logan continues to be a jerk even though he's the victim. It's just kind of funny. You're like, wow, that guy's a victim. God, he's such a jerk. I hate this guy. But so William basically ties him up and takes him behind his horse, and he's off to find Dolores. And so kind of tortures Logan basically for a while.
Yeah.
Very much he's his slave, more or less. Carries him around, looking for Dolores, can't find Dolores. And then eventually the final thing we see of Logan is naked on a horse, and he's sent off.
Well, he's also
slap on the butt.
His hands are tied.
And his hands are tied, good point.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I can fend for myself.
No.
what do we get from that?
I get that he's dead.
I kind of get that he's dead too. We don't see him die, but
no. But he's like, hey, I'm going to buy this place, with my company. And he's like, this is my company.
And then William says something like, oh, well, the company needs stable people.
Yeah, not people who will be naked on a horse.
Right. So, but my thought is, well, if Logan survives, he's going to say, yeah, William tortured the crap out of me, stripped me naked, and put me on a horse. Like, that doesn't sound like it's in William's interest to have a Logan show up and explain, yeah, this guy tortured me for a few weeks. Right. So he almost has to be dead.
I think so. If someone, puts you naked on a horse, ties your hands up, and then...
You're probably going to fall off the horse at some point.
Yes, at some point you'll fall off, and that will cause you to die.
And you're also in a desert.
Right.
Now, theoretically, you're in a desert that's monitored 24/7 by people that can come and rescue you because you pay $40,000 a day to be there.
So if you fall off the horse and the horse keeps going, that's not good.
Yeah. So somehow William didn't want to kill him. Outright, shoot him, but he's like, I'll do this thing that will result in your death.
Right, because you can say, how did you happen to die? These robots can't kill you.
Oh, he was naked and he went crazy and rode a horse. He decided to do the naked horse hand tie ride.
How unstable he is.
He belongs in a stable. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I think the idea is Logan's dead.
Yes.
Although he will come back as Old Man Logan next year. That's a different movie, but okay, whatever. Okay, great. So what are some other questions we were left with? So actually, Ford, we learn, so he obviously was against the idea of closing the park.
Yes.
But over time, over this 30 years or so, he changed his mind in terms of whether or not the robots could achieve consciousness.
Yes, that's what he,
And in fact, it's kind of interesting, the whole series has been this thing about cornerstones, establishing a cornerstone personality thing for the hosts.
Right.
And in the case of Bernard, it was the Arnold had lost his kid.
Right.
And so Ford gave that cornerstone to Bernard. And that kind of became his, through suffering we learn and
we
gain,
learn and grow, and yes.
And so I think Ford had a cornerstone.
Our cornerstones.
Ford's cornerstone was Arnold dying.
Right, perhaps.
And the memory of that loss.
Well,
he rebuilt a robot likeness of him and worked with him and came to realize that this maze, this thing is a.
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe, they kind of established that by having his family there, who didn't actually feel that strong a connection to, he had mentioned that, not Bernard.
Arnold.
Arnold had made his family for him to sort of have him feel something, but it didn't work. So
Good call.
It wasn't until Arnold dies that he realizes, oh no, I do have a connection to something. So that could be.
Yeah. So he found his cornerstone. So in some ways he was, much like a robot. He found his raison d'être.
Yes.
He does the thing about the Michelangelo painting, and we see the Sistine Chapel, and he's like, and the hidden message is that it's a brain.
Right.
That God is a brain. Which one? Whatever. Okay, cool. I guess I didn't know that before. If that's a thing.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure the internet will tackle that.
Sure. Season 2. I love this theory that at least part of the series is going to be Man in Black keeping some board members alive in the park.
Right.
And in fact, I think they'll probably not only try to stay alive, but then maybe thwart the park. So maybe they go, they find the, because there are stations, as we know, below the house, below the church.
Right.
There are ways that you can maybe control robots and stuff. So maybe they could we have to go get to those installations, that kind of thing. So there's that. There's perhaps Abernathy's code has come out into the real world.
Right. I just sort of wondered if that was part of Maeve may have been aware of that, and maybe that's part of the reason why she was leaving the park. Maybe, although if she's going on the same train as him, then she could just stop him. So yeah, maybe she didn't know about Abernathy.
Yeah, I don't know that she did.
But was there a reason for her to leave the park other than, you're free?
You're free. Yeah, and I feel like Ford wanted there to be more reason. I think Ford is basically saying, bring on the apocalypse. I think that's kind of like, hey, humanity, so long, and it's a time of robots. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think he was trying to usher in a new age where robots will take over. So the robot war, if this series went on, let's say 5 seasons, somewhere in there you're going to have open warfare on the streets outside of Westworld with robots versus humans. I don't know that that's necessarily season 2, though.
Oh, no, I don't think so either.
I think maybe we see a little glimpse of maybe robot on the street kind of thing, but I don't think we see like a full-on, the robots have escaped the park.
Yeah, I don't know. And I would be interested in see what the world is like out there. However, I'm wondering if they're never going to leave there. Like maybe we'll see, we got a hint that there was a Shogun world or something.
Right, so a Samurai world, Shogun world, SW, and we see samurais practice fighting. I love the fact that they were shooting each other around these samurais that were completely oblivious to them doing a sword fight. That was just kind of a fun, I don't know, that was cool.
That was cute too, the whole, this is an automatic weapon. Yeah. This is great.
These are awesome. I just like a pistol. I got a 6-shooter. And so we see that, and we also see that when Maeve is given the note to go find her daughter, it says, the location says Park 1.
Yes.
Which implies there are other parks.
Right.
So there's a Westworld, obviously would be the first park, because that's when they were first coming up with stuff. So it sounds like there's a Samurai world, and who knows what else. Yeah, so that's something that we'll definitely explore in future episodes. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff we could chat about. Right. But
that's the main things, I think.
Just to put a little bow on it there. Cha-cha. Any other season 2? I think we'll see Man in Black. I doubt we'll see Anthony Hopkins as Ford. I think we'll say Bernard seems to be out of control of the park.
Come in for flashbacks, but
I'd be interesting to see Teddy's growth, because Teddy still seems like, I can't tell, did he achieve consciousness or not? Because he was doing his little spiel with the dying Dolores, and then it's like lights up, everybody.
I guess he did have some reveries that caused him to attack the Man in Black.
Yes.
So he did remember that he did this terrible thing to Dolores. I'm not sure if he's had any
He being the Man in Black did the terrible thing to Dolores.
Correct, sorry.
Yeah.
So Teddy had a memory of that, but I'm not sure if he's had other... I don't know. It seems like, you can't tell with Teddy. Yeah. Because they try to make you think he was human in the first episode,
So I feel like there's some room for some growth there. We'll see maybe a little bit more of his...
Right, I mean, because he had an idea about who Dolores was, and now he's got to have a different idea about who she is.
Yeah, oh, she shot me. She killed me that time, a long time ago.
Well, it's like having 2 personalities in her head, I mean, is that going to affect her at all? I mean, maybe that's been affecting her all along,
I think
so.
I will say there's one thing I was surprised about, too. I kind of had in my mind that the Man in Black's motives were not simply to get to the center of the maze, but were to get there for the sake of reuniting with Dolores. Because I kind of saw that, okay, he had this relationship with her when he was William. Right. Then she, restarted her program, went back to the start of the loop and had a relationship with someone else. And he was so outraged or depressed by that he wanted to free her consciousness so that she would remember him and return to him.
But
nope. She was like, William, she actually kind of remembered him. Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, now I'm going to beat the truth out of you. And it's like, well, okay, well, all right then. So that was not his motive necessarily. I mean, I think he was so embittered by the fact that she was a robot. When he's like, cue the waterworks. I mean, he's basically saying, you're a robot, you're just going to try to manipulate me.
Before she knew who she was, though.
Yeah, but I don't think there was ever a moment when she's like, William, and he's like, oh yeah, you do remember me. it didn't seem like he then softened his approach any. It wasn't like, oh, you know what? I love you, Dolores.
No, definitely not.
He never did the I love you,
what
Dolores.
What happened to you?
Yeah.
You're not who I thought you were.
So that was a surprise to me. It was that his motivation had nothing to do with getting back to Dolores. It was just, I want to know what the secret is, even though he's constantly told, this isn't for you.
Yeah, I know.
The maze isn't for you. Let me get another character in here to walk in. The maze is not for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Where's the maze? So anyway, it's a little bit of a surprise too. But
that was the weird tonal thing after that whole finally, all this stuff has happened, and Ford comes out and says, "Oh, dear, not for you," and then he's just hanging out at a party. Oh well.
I broke my arm. I got a tux.
Yeah. So it was almost in a way anticlimactic until the climax happened.
Right. And he gets shot, and he has that smile, like oh my God, he's right. There are stakes now. I can get killed. Yay!
Yeah. Phew.
Here comes Logan.
Yeah, which occurs to me that the whole purpose of that thing, I don't think that's going to be the change in the business. Oh, good. Now we'll go there even more because
good point. I mean, Westworld is pretty much screwed at this point. As a functional park, no way you can recover from that. Yeah.
No. So what kind of business guy is this guy?
So it's kind of in the remnants of the park. We're going to see this battle happening.
And two. I mean, okay. So presumably they wanted the information, the code taken out so they could get power. I mean,
Well, these are all people that are getting shot right now.
Right, true. But when they wanted to take the code out, is that just the end of it? Like, okay, now we can do whatever we want. We can make these hosts simpler. Is that all, or they want to do something else with that?
I think they want to do something else because that was constantly brought up multiple times throughout the
video. You think this whole point?
You're so naive. Yeah, you don't know what we're trying to do.
No imagination.
I'm guessing immortality is what I'm thinking. Like they're going to sell it. Hey. Do you want to live forever? We can take your consciousness, stick it into a robot.
We haven't seen that, though.
We haven't. Arnold.
We haven't seen that. Arnold is created after this.
I think they're theorizing that Ford has that ability and or is on his way.
Well, then they'd
like to see it. Well, I'm just saying. I think that's the end result.
I don't think they were shown that. So.
So you're saying maybe it's more like we got super soldiers.
Yeah.
Or
it's like we just create replacements and just teach them how to do, how to be people.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, we'll replace the president of China with a
Trump is
robot
so much
under our
smarter
control.
Now.
Yes. So that's Westworld.
Yes.
Season 1. Loved it. Great series. Yep. Highly recommend it. Yep. And we gotta wait 2 years or so for season 2. But that's it. Anyway, thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Sure, man.
Dorklords.